Hello and welcome to a brand new show of Market Makers. In last 10 days, bulls have got much more than they ever thought of. Earning push, technical breakout, a big reversal in global liquidity and strong GDP data. So are the odds stacked up in favor of a mega bull run? What about valuations and what about individual companies? To talk about individual companies, stock ideas and also big themes, I have the perfect guest. Before I welcome my guest, a quick introduction. He's Vijay Kedia. You've seen him before on ET Now. He's a master stock picker and he really has mastered the art of both combining art and science when it comes to individual stock picking. Vijay, fantastic to have you back on ET Now. Thank you for joining us. Last time you told me that when you invest, you don't look at macros, you don't look at the big picture, you look at individual companies. But before I talk about individual companies, let's understand the big picture. I mean, it's never been that good for us. Earnings are strong, macros are favorable, and GDP is now nearing 8%. So is the macro looking great?
Of course it is looking great. If you ask me, actually I am in the favor of that statement which is doing the round, that India is on the cusp of a great revolution. And I think if you don't understand, if you can't see it now, then either you can't see or you have an ego problem. So I am from the camp that a big bull run is ahead of us.
We were talking about this big bull rally theory even in May 2014. Markets went up largely because of hope and P expansion, and earnings have not been strong. But for the first time after a gap of 6 or 8 quarters, I am getting a sense that strong data is backing the market action. Market rally has been back-ended. Markets have waited for the numbers and then they've reacted to the numbers.
Yes.
So do you think there's a very strong fundamental substance to this rally?
Of course. This is what we had been waiting for last 2 years. Because in 14 when market went up, that was on the anticipation of good times to come. Okay. 15 and 16 we waited because it was not reflected in the earning. Now I think as everybody is saying that now green shoots are appearing in the economy.
Last time you told me that the most important characteristic of an investor is that you should have the courage to buy, vision to see and patience to hold.
Yes.
Right? Do you think right now one should have the courage to buy and participate even the market run up has been quite strong?
Yes, I think so. I don't think that market has run up because in 2015 also we were at 8,000 or 8,500 Nifty and we touched 9,000. Today we are at 8,100 or 200. So I don't think we have seen a good run up. I think good time is going to start now.
What makes you bullish? Aren't you worried about factors like monsoon, Fed, Brexit?
See, one thing I will tell you, this we have seen every year in our life. Okay, bull market is not about that your stock become from 10 rupees to 50 rupees in 1 year or in 2 years. That is not the bull market. You are holding the fort in spite of this bad weather is also a bull market. Okay, so now you held the fort for 1 year or for 2 years and you grew, suppose your company grew 15% or 10%. So that is better than the other investments. When good time will come, same company will deliver better return. So cumulatively, if you will calculate, so maybe in a span of 5 years, you will be left with good return.
So typically when you invest, what are the criteria you look at? Because you never look at macro. You don't look at China or US interest rate or what's going on with the global environment. You look at individual companies, individual businesses. So in terms of positioning, where are you investing?
I'm still invested in whatever stocks I had invested in 2014.
So your core
most of them I am still holding. Sorry?
Your core portfolio has not changed?
Yeah, core not changed. Maybe little bit. Maybe 10%.
So tell me a bit more about your top holdings.
Same as we had discussed so many times in the past, Apar Industries, Sudarshan Chemical, Repro, Atuloto, Cera Sanitary Ware.
So typically when you buy a stock, what is the average holding period?
Actually, when I buy, I don't decide my holding period. It could be 1 day to 5 years. Okay, could be 10 years. So that I don't decide when I am buying my stocks.
So let's talk about Sudarshan Chemicals. You've been holding the stock for over 2 years now. I looked at their Q4 numbers and blowout set of numbers, and the market verdict was immediate. Stock went up by 10%. Do you think the cycle has turned around for Sudarshan Chemicals?
Yes, I think so, because when in 2014 I had bought Sudarshan Chemical, that time nobody was talking about chemical company. Okay, because chemical company did not perform in last 10 years. But now this is the first time the numbers, as you are talking about Q4, numbers were very good. I'm not very happy about those numbers. My happiness is that now people are talking about chemical companies. So now there are so many other companies also doing well in chemical sector. So now you have got your peers and neighbors to compare. So that is a good thing is happening in chemical sector. Somebody was telling me that now chemical is the next pharma. So forget about all these jargons about whether next pharma or whatever it is. But now people are,
Speciality chemical is the way to go.
Exactly.
The challenge for Sudarshan Chemical could be that they are still dependent on crude and crude derivatives, and the volatility in crude could create havoc for them. So aren't you worried about the fact that ultimately Sudarshan is a commodity dependent company?
No, they are not dependent that much on crude, let me tell you, because even the crude price came down from 135 rupees to 35-50 rupees. That is not reflected in their balance sheet, because I think it has a very marginal effect in the bottom line of the company. So even if crude price goes up also, that is not going to have any impact on the balance sheet.
So what's your average price for Sudarshan Chemical, average buying price?
As I told you last time, so many times I have told you.
You told me when you bought, you didn't tell me at what price you bought.
I bought at 42 rupees compared to like whatever this split and X bonus, 42 or 42, 43 rupees. Then again I bought at 82 rupees.
So as of now, you think you are happy to hold Sudarshan Chemical till 2020?
Yes, I think so. As on today, I think so. Until unless management does some mischief, which I don't think so, because it's the best management. So I am likely to hold for next 3
They're
4
also
5
going
years.
global. They are looking at global tie-ups. They're
Yes.
getting big joint ventures.
Yeah.
So do you think that could be the turning point for Sudarshan Chemicals?
Yes, could be. They are aspiring to become 4th largest company in the world, and 3rd largest company is having a turnover of 10,000 crore. This company is only 1,400 crore. So that aspiration is more important in the management. What we look into the management, they should be honest, they should be hungry, and they should be smart. If the management is honest but not hungry, then that is not of our use. And if they are not smart how to maneuver things, how to make their way, then there is no point in investing on those shares. So all these 3 ingredients which I am looking for in any company is there in Sudarshan Chemical.
So that's your checklist. The
Yeah.
checklist, Vijay Kedia
Macro
checklist is
checklist.
that
You can
you don't look at very deep down Excel calculations. You look at very prima facie the vision of the management, the hunger of the management, and the corporate governance standards of the
Yes,
management.
exactly. I don't look much for EPS and ROC and ROE and all those things, because those are the past numbers. Okay.
So investing is not a science, it's an art, or maybe it's a combination of both art and science.
Yeah, could be.
Vijay, you're an old timer. You've been investing in stock markets from over 3 decades now, more than 30 years. Typically, old timers don't like to buy into technology stocks. A classic case here is Buffett. He's rarely bought IT company. He never believes in buying high technology companies because they are outside his circle of competence. So for an old timer like you to take a deep dive into a company called Repro, I mean, I'm surprised. Why have you bought a technology company where technology is difficult to understand?
First, let me tell you, it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent one. It is the one who is responsive to change. Okay, so we every day we are learning something new. So forget about that IT companies and all these things. I invested into Repro because of the disruption they are having. Although the numbers for 4th quarter was not good because they had made a lot of provisions, but what the company is doing, that is something unique. It's a kind of monopoly kind of thing. They have, as you know, that they have tied up with Ingram. According to me, that is a multi-million, kind of opportunity for this company. But that might take another 2 quarters or 3 quarters for company to perform. So I am hoping for the best.
So again, like a Sudarshan, you're happy to own Repro for next 5-6 years?
Yes, I think Repro's stories has not yet begun. Sudarshan Chemical, when I bought Sudarshan Chemical, for 2 reasons I bought. One, it was cheap, and second thing, it was struggling. So I like those companies which are struggling, but has potentially to come out from that struggle phase and make a good fortune for themselves. So Sudarshan, I think struggle phase has ended. This is what I feel. I may be wrong also, but Repro is still struggling. So maybe it will take couple of quarters more for them.
Now, what we've discussed are 2 ideas. These are old ideas.
Old idea, yeah.
Right. So let's move on and talk about where have you invested off late. Where are you picking your spots? Some of our viewers are also eager to understand the fresh ideas which currently are there on your mind.
Yeah, I have recently invested into Karnataka Bank,
Okay, that's KTK Bank.
KTK Bank.
Okay.
So for the simple matter that everybody knows, let's say you can call it say mid cap or large cap, I don't know, maybe mid cap, because private bank, small bank, good management, 100 years old companies, okay, good dividend yield. And when first time I bought at 99 or something, it was 0.5 book. Again, I bought some share that was 0.7 book or something. Company is doing well, growing 16-18% year on year, 80,000 crore business now, projecting to touch 200,000 crore by 2020. So looking all these things, and obviously, because of this group of PSUs banks and all, KTK Bank also fell down from 140-50 rupees to 100 rupees. Now it is 125, whatever.
So do you think one should not look at Karnataka Bank as just a PSU bank? It may be an old bank, but it is an old sector private bank.
It is a private bank, of course, at the valuation of PSU's bank actually.
That is your basic underlying thesis why you bought into KTK Bank.
Of course, I bought at say 0.6 or 0.7 value book, for example. Other good banks are available at 2 and 3 and 4. So,
but is it a good idea to compare an HDFC Bank with Karnataka
no, I'm not
Bank?
comparing. I'm not comparing with HDFC, but there is a benchmark. Okay, good banks has a valuation of this book. Okay, so there is a comparison. I'm not a direct comparison.
But in the banking sector, we've seen that size, scale, and brand, they matter. The best CASA is still with State Bank of India, followed by HDFC Bank, because they've got a brand, they've got a reach, they've got ATMs, the digital presence is strong. So when the banking sector is getting rebooted, do you think small banks or old banks, they will be out of business?
See, this is what investment is. No, how much money will you make if you will buy SDFC at this price? I'm not saying that SDFC is not a good investment. But the idea is to find such stocks. We are going to become SDFC in future. I'm not saying again KTK Bank can become SDFC. I'm not saying that cannot become also SDFC, right? So the idea is to buy such stocks which has potential to grow.
When big investors, they make their portfolios, they are looking at about 15-18% return. You're a large investor. Without getting into size of your portfolio, what I want to understand from you is that when you're buying a stock, what is the kind of return potential you look at?
Of course, I'm looking for a multi-bagger in every investment I make. So, but all the investments don't give you that kind of return. So the idea is to find idea is something like that shoot at the moon, at least you will win the stars, So that is the idea. Even if you don't multiply your money, at least you will not lose your wealth, or it will give you a moderate return of 15-20%.
But when you are looking at buying a stock, you're at least looking at a 25 to 30% compounder. You're not looking at a 10-11% compounder.
No, of course not.
That is not your style, and that is not what you're looking
at. Yes, this is what I'm not looking for that kind
Your
of
next
return.
investment idea is a very conservative idea, LIC Housing. And some would argue that the best of the gains for LIC Housing are behind us. It's a discovered story. It may not be an expensive stock, but housing finance companies have seen a very strong purple patch. For 8 to 10 years, they've been market outperformers. So for someone who's looking at multi-bagger ideas, for someone who believes that I need to invest my capital where I could get a minimum return of 20 to 25%, does LIC Housing Finance fit the bill?
It may not be a multi-bagger, and let me tell you, LIC Housing Finance did very well in last decade. Okay, after that, for last 3-4 years, they are consolidating. But I'm very bullish on housing sector, and investing in small cap is also not that easy, because you don't get that kind of
size, scale,
size
execution.
Also, volume also you don't get. So I'm bullish on housing sector, and in housing sector, housing finance companies, LIC is cheaper than its peers. So that is why I bought LIC, and it has liquidity also. So not because it may not be a multi-bagger, but I think that should give me a 20-25% return every year.
But you got options now in the housing finance space. You got HDFC, which is supreme, and they've got the biggest and the largest book. If I go down the ladder, you got the One Housing Finance, not a equality book, but a reasonably priced stock. Why have you zeroed on LIC? Because LIC has one issue, which is the PSU tag.
No, that is okay, PSU tag, because maybe because of my old love with LIC. I had earlier bought LIC when it was 100 rupees paid up at 200 rupees. Okay. So maybe because of my old love with LIC, I bought LIC, and it's a liquid stocks only. So I can, if I don't like the stocks going forward, I can sell and switch over to some mid cap, which are really close to my heart.
You're not a day trader, you're not a positional trader, but you do have a trading book. and where you like to buy large cap stocks for a year or 2 years. So what are you buying in that account of yours, which is technically not a trading account, it is not an investment account, but your time frame is about a year to 2 years?
Yeah, recently I bought BPCL.
Okay.
So
it's a Nifty 50
that falls
stock.
into
That's
that
not
category.
your style.
Yeah, that is not my style, but I bought their shares. I like that shares.
What's the thinking behind this?
Same thing. It's unearthed. Everybody knows about your BPCL. You know, it's a great business, and the past is behind. BPCL. So we are still having that kind of fear in these OMCs and all. Again, some kind of regulation may come. So that is why we are getting at a cheaper price. So I think more and more people will come out of that fear. Stock should be re-rated.
Have you sold BEL, a stock which we discussed a couple of quarters ago?
Yes, I sold my BEL.
So what was the thesis behind selling BEL?
No, I sold my BL because I wanted to deploy in some mid-cap. That is why I sold.
In terms of margin of safety, do you think the margin of safety, at least for the moment, is greater with large cap stocks and not with mid cap stocks? Because I'm getting a sense that mid cap is where all the fun and excitement is. The endeavor of a good investor is always to hunt in the mid cap space. But do you think the P multiples and the earnings potential in the large cap space is greater and higher?
No, I don't think so. I'm a mid cap investor. Okay, I always look for stories in mid cap. So if you ask me, I think mid cap have greater chances of giving you greater return in times to come.
Which is your all-time favorite stock?
It keeps on changing. You know, right now you can say the Sudarshan and Repro, which I've discussed so many times. So I feel a little shy to name all those
But
shares
favorites
every time.
don't change. I mean, that's the reason why they're called favorites.
No, till you are invested in those shares, the word favorite does not change.
Buffett once said that when he's buying a stock, he's actually not buying a stock, he's buying a business, and he's happy to own that business for next 10 years, next 15 years, even if markets they shut down for whatever reason, he's happy to own that stock. So if you have to, let's say, buy one stock or two stocks, and you have to, let's say, log those names, and you will only look at that business after 10 years, which are the names which will fall in that criteria?
You see, I'm not I am a follower of Buffett, you can say, but I would be worried if market closes for even 1 month. Let me tell you, because it's my own money. It's not borrowed money. It's not the money from the public. Okay, and whatever stocks I am holding right now, I'm comfortable with those stocks. This is what I can tell you.
What is your view on the Nifty?
Nifty, I think since according to technical, Nifty has breaking out from 8,000 level. I think we are going to see new high very soon. It should cross 9,000 very soon.
So assuming that this is the Modi bull market, which started in August 2013, when the index was sub 20,000, by the time this market will age out, or by the time the market will peak out, where do you think Nifty will move, and where do you think the Sensex will go?
Earlier bull market, actually, when we made a top of 22,000.
This was in August. This was in 2008 Jan.
Right. Yeah. Before that, previous peak was 6,300.
Okay.
So market went up some 3.5 or 4 times.
So from the last peak, yes, it became 3.
Yes. So I assume same thing is going to happen this time also.
So are you making a claim that by the time this market will peak out, the Sensex, assuming that it started at about 19,000, we can easily go to 60,000?
It should go up to, like, say 22,000. It should go up to 90,000 and 1 lakh.
But those were extraordinary times.
So again, extraordinary time will come. You can't know when extraordinary time comes.
But global factors have to also, synchronize, because
that time also global factors were there. That time lot of uncertainties were there.
So you think that the mega bull run really lies ahead of us, and we could be staring at an unimaginable number in next 5 to 6 years?
I think so. My all investments are based on that philosophy only. Although I don't invest into NSE, Nifty or BSE Sensex. So what I mean that index will become 4 times. That means my investment should give me a return of 4 times or 5 times in next 5 years.
You realize you got the most bullish voice on Dalal Street.
No, talk to Rakesh.
I mean, again, his claim is that we are headed for a mother of all the bull market.
Yeah.
But you feel that the mother of all the bull market and the mega bull run really lies ahead of us?
Yes, I think so.
I've been told that you just went to IIM Ahmedabad. So how was that experience?
IIM Ahmedabad, yeah. Yes, it was a very good experience. I was a little nervous when I went to IIM Ahmedabad, but it was a really good session. Then I went to IIM Bangalore also.
Okay.
So that was also another a very good session I had. So nice experience.
What's the secret behind the new look?
These are green shoots.
So they are in sync with your market outlook and in sync with the economic outlook.
Think with India, in sync with my in the economy of India.
Every man on Wall Street said that it is important to have a number. It could be age, it could be wealth, it could be something else. So what is that one number which Vijay Kedia is chasing in his life?
I'm chasing Rakesh.
But what is that one thing which drives you? I'm not talking about your market view. I'm not talking about your general optimism about economy. You've created enough wealth for yourself. You've created enough value. Your children are settled now. You're 50 plus now. But yet the hunger and desire to grow is clearly there.
You see, I've not created enough of wealth. Let me tell you. Let me clarify. I'm work in progress. Okay, and this is the only thing which I love. That is why I am into stock market. This is what keeps me going.
So for a first timer who's inspired after today's interaction and really wants to understand the recipe of investing in or the successful recipe of investing in stock markets, what should be there on someone's checklist?
Management is very important. If you are investing with good management, then half of your research, half of your worries are out. Okay, and after that you have to invest in full capacity. Suppose if you have 1 lakh rupees to invest and you are investing in 5,000 rupees in one stock, even that stock multiplies, you are not going to get very good return. So the most important thing is management, then courage and patience.
So for a successful investor, it is important to first have the vision to see or identify a good company, courage to buy, which means you should participate, and then patience to hold, and stomach to digest the volatility. Okay, that's a perfect mantra. So before we wrap the show, let's get some disclosures. We've been stock specific. I know you've said that whatever stocks we've discussed, you have a vested interest. But the compliance, I'm sure, and the regulation, they prompt me to ask you a very simple question on disclosure.
Yes, I am holding all those shares and I do have vested interest.
Are you long or short the market?
Long.
Long or short? You're not short.
No, long.
If given an option to, let's say, punch in one trade, which will be that trade?
Like what?
Any trade. Stock or Nifty, index or commodity, which is one trade which you would like to punch right
I am fully invested. You can say I am leveraged.
So your commitment levels are really high right now.
Of course.
And you don't have money to punch in a trade.
No, I don't have money.
That just speaks about how strong your underlying belief is.
100%. You can say I am fully invested. I don't have money. I just have money to run my household expenditure.
I'm sure you're not. You are discarding your dividend income, which is going to be very strong as well. So you don't need to worry about that. But really appreciate your time. Glad you could join us and had a wonderful show with you.
Thank you.
That's it on this edition of Market Makers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the show.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.